1:30 in the morning, Los Angeles time. I don't know if it's how's the stream looking. Give me a thumbs up if it's streaming smooth, if it's streaming good. Top of the morning. I'm not sure if this is buffering or if it's playing good. Let me know. Thumbs up if it's playing good. Thumbs down if it's not. Thumbs up. Cool. Thumbs up. It's 1:30 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. I'm in Los Angeles, California. I'm in my home studio and taking a quick break. I was actually writing out my to-do list for the week. And that's about it. I decided to jump on here and see what's good. All right, we got all thumbs up on the stream. Sometimes my internet, I think because of COVID-19, there's more people on the internet. And you share your bandwidth with your neighbors sometimes too. So with everybody on the internet at the same time, and if you're sharing bandwidth, it might buffer, but sounds good. It's 3:30 in St. Paul, Minnesota. Why does THC talk so fast? Orale, much love from Night Owl. What's up? Night Owl's homie. Oh, Miguel Moctezuma. Are you Night Owl's homie, the guy that I interviewed from the San Diego area? If so, that's interesting. I got a whole bunch of videos that I got coming out real soon. I'm editing all day on Tuesday. So Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, expect some stuff that you never seen and maybe some stuff from previous videos that I posted. I'm also writing a list, a schedule of what I want to put out in the next few days. Are all gangs behaving on lockdown? I haven't looked at the data yet, but I think that violent crime is certainly down. Homicides are definitely down. There's an occasional thing, but for the most part, I think everything has slowed down. They tripping in Huntington Beach, spreading that COVID. Hey, don't go to Huntington Beach, man. Let them people in Huntington Beach. Look, let me show you what I got. I ain't playing with this COVID. Hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer. Okay. I got the pump kind, and I got the spray kind. So I ain't playing out here with that COVID. Why are you fascinated about gangs? That's not really a simple question. There's an evolution to the interest in gang culture that starts at a very young age, and it develops over time, and your interest becomes more refined, more specific. So just like with anything that anyone is fascinated with, that's a development over time. It's certainly not a just one moment in time influence. It's a growth. I heard Sureños are targeting blacks. Well, I hope not. Let's talk about Vlad. What's there to talk about? Where you get all that sanitizer in these times? Well, this sanitizer comes from Aroma Stories. You can go to Aroma Stories on Instagram and you can grab you a bottle of this. This is the spray kind. It's a liquid sanitizer, spray kind. I got this hand sanitizer from the store near Culver City called Rainbow Acres. Rainbow Acres. And I got this hand sanitizer at an old supermarket that I used to work at. I used to work in a supermarket called Gelson's. Got this at Gelson's in Hollywood. So, you know, what else we got on here? Am I still doing the oldest hoods in Compton video? I am actually. I was just thinking about that video. I swear, when that video comes out, y'all gonna go crazy because it's I'm just editing it at a whole nother level. That's all. The term gang is a word the government used to justify unjust treatment of black and brown people. Yes, sir, the OGs be handling the scraps. Dang, bro, you go hard in the paint late night. Yes, sir. There is too much to do and not enough hours in the day to do it, unfortunately. I really hate sleep. I hate going to sleep, but we all got to do it. Compton Vario Tres on there. Yeah, Compton Vario Tres is definitely in the top 10. And if you know anything about Compton Vario Tres, on a Compton up cheer. What is it? How do you say it? Just hit me up. I'm trying to like put in little details for each set. So Compton Vario Tres is definitely on there. On a come up, yeah. Hit me up. Alex, will gang culture in LA ever die out? It's going to take a long time for it to die out. You know, gang culture in LA has been here for at least 130 years straight. So for it to just disappear is like unlikely. And where it's at now it's pretty strong. The presence is pretty strong. So no, I don't see it dying out in the next 20 years, but who knows what could happen after that. How much time did Thumbs Down from Fruittown? I don't know how much time he got. I don't even think he was sentenced. I believe he's fighting his case. He may still be in the county jail. Reach out to Paul Rodriguez. He was from Compton Vario Tres. Hey, is Paul Rodriguez on Instagram or Facebook? Let me know, because maybe I will hit him up. You got any more interviews from Junior? I might got one more part with Junior from Treetop Pyru in Compton. I might squeeze out one more with Junior. Some street fool sabotaging your interviews. American Aboriginal Brave. Who? Who's sabotaging my interviews? Not familiar with that. Vadio Grape and Grape Crips have an alliance. Yeah, they definitely do. The Vadio Grapes and the Grape Street Crips, they've known each other since probably since the Grape Street Crips or the Jordan Down Crips. That's what, 71, 72. The Watts Vadio Grapes was already there in the 60s. So that's over 50 years ago. So, and plus Black and Mexicans have been living together in Watts longer than in any other community. That goes back 100 years. Goes back more than 100 years, about 110 years. So Blacks and Mexicans are very tight in Watts. Are Reggie Wright and Big James beefing? No, they're not beefing. they're like brothers, man. They're gonna argue and debate. There's no serious conflict going on between Reggie Wright and Big James McDonald. Any more interviews from OG Pooh from Acacia Block? James Joseph. You know, I might do another part with Pooh. Definitely Pooh is interesting. He's smart, he's sharp, he's articulate, he knows how to tell a story, he's never boring. So yeah, maybe we'll hook up with Pooh again. Can you cover the 54th Street Massacre? The 54th Street Massacre. What was that 1984? VNGs, Five Deuce Hoovers. It was 5 people killed from Five Deuce Hoover. Interesting case. They got a brother on death row for that case named Keith Fudge, aka Ace Capone. Terrell Brown, have you checked on Puerto Rico since that hurricane? I've been to Puerto Rico like 3 times since the hurricane, 3 or 4 times. Yeah, Pooh has a lot of great stories. Definitely. James Joseph, my uncle was killed that night. Are you serious? James, hit me up on Instagram. I'd love to talk to you more about that. Rizza Islam and Tariq Nasheed do a lot of work with LA gangs. I've never seen either of them two brothers in any of the functions that I've attended. I did see Tariq Nasheed at A Taste of Soul in 2019, but other than that, I haven't seen him at any specific gang event or anti-violence event. Not that I go to every single one, but I go to a lot of them, and I've been going to them for years. Alonso, you are a legend. Darian Eust, thank you very much for those kind words. Did H Crown get sentenced yet? Don't know. I don't know. H Crown's supposed to call me up. I'm waiting on this guy's call. I got a call from one of his homeboys that I was going to be getting a call from H Crown, and I haven't heard from him, so we'll see. Tariq won't be at no gang event. I don't know. I met the brother once. Seemed like a cool guy. Are you going to do a video on defunct gangs like Macy Street? That's an old neighborhood. Mateo Street, Barrio Alpine, Clarence Street, Eloyo Soto. Man, all those are in the same area, especially Macy Street, Mateo, and Alpine. They're all that kind of in that same area. Clarence Street used to be up in the projects or right outside the Aliso Village projects. Eloyo Soto's over on the East LA side. Man. Have you ever interviewed gang members from New Orleans? No, I tried only one time. One time I did. Or one time I tried to and it didn't work out. Tariq is a smart, dumb nigga. Well, okay, well, I guess you're not a big fan of Tariq. Tariq Nasheed was one of the first on scene when Nipsey got killed. He's solid. I'm glad this internet connection is working good. Tariq also thinks Nipsey's murder is a government job. Too many wild conspiracies out there. The government has nothing to gain by having Nipsey killed. Brother RZA and the FOI were involved in the peace talks between the Crips and F-13. Oh, I've seen a lot of the Nation out there. I don't recall Brother RZA. I'm not saying he wasn't there, but I remember seeing James Muhammad from the Nation and a couple other brothers from the Nation. Definitely the Nation of Islam played a role. They were present. They helped facilitate meetings, and they provided some sharp security. Maybe that brother was there and I just didn't know him, or maybe I missed him. Tariq also said blacks can't get the coronavirus. Oh man. Blacks are going to be one of the highest and most susceptible to the coronavirus, not because the virus does anything special. It's just because a lot of black people have underlying conditions. They have the specific underlying conditions that coronavirus loves to exploit, whether that's diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, asthma. And, we got that all in our community. So if you don't really have an underlying condition, I don't think you will have a big issue with COVID-19. Why didn't you ever get that Conejo interview? Man, you're going to have to talk to Conejo. I just talked to Conejo the other day. We had a long conversation. I love that brother right there. But I'm not the type of dude to keep on pressing someone. Conejo knows what time it is, when to pull up, and when he's ready, he's ready. When he wants to come on Street TV, he'll come on Street TV. Simple as that. I told Conejo I wanted to interview him when he was a fugitive. I was actually in communication with Conejo when he was down in Mexico on the run from that case that he got extradited on. I was going to travel down there, but I guess that was too risky. I'm sure his people felt that that's kind of dangerous. So it never happened. But I was willing to go down there. Conejo acting bougie with the interviews. He gone Hollywood. Nah, he didn't go Hollywood. At least at this point, he didn't go Hollywood. Tariq followers are effing morons. Yeah, that would have been epic if I was able to connect with him and do an interview in Mexico, come back to LA, edit it, post it. Man, everybody would have been like, damn, how'd you get that Conejo interview? But, it didn't happen. Shouts from Fresno. Oh, we got 75 people up in here. That's cool. 75 people up in here. Yes. 18th Street, Fruittown. It's Fruittown Brims, not Fruittown Pyros. 20s and Blackstones. Yeah, they're still beefing. Big Uso, have you ever been to the pen? Nah, I've never been to the pen. I've never been convicted of a crime. Never walked on a prison yard as a convict ever. Whatever happened to Chris Blatchford? Chris Blatchford retired from Fox 11 News Los Angeles, and he's maintained a low profile ever since. I'm assuming he's going to try to squeeze out another book. I'm not sure what he's writing about. I'm not even sure if he's writing. Did you see the video of the guys throwing the egg at the street vendor? I have not had an opportunity to watch those videos. Sorry about that. Maybe someone can send it to me and put it in my DM. And I came from the gutter, so I could deal with it. Okay. What would be the oldest gang in Los Angeles? Unactive or active? Inactive or active? Well, you're asking two questions, so I'm not sure. Can you make videos of more Samoan gangs? If you know a Samoan to interview, let's make it happen. Jack Bone asked, why Reg doing what he's doing? I'm not exactly sure what Reg is doing. What's up from New Zealand? We got New Zealand up in the house. You ever hear from Lil Bae Boo, the Miller? Man, I'd love to find whatever happened to Lil Bae Boo. I interviewed Lil Bae Boo 12 years ago. Come on now, 12 years ago. You can double check me on that one. I'm thinking that was 12 years ago. Frederick Johnson, what up, Alex? Appreciate your work. Cuh. It's 2 a.m. here in Los Angeles. G Active going to be home when he's 95. That's not true. That is not true. He's definitely going to be home before he's 95. He's definitely going to be home before he's 95. What else we got here? What's good to everybody in the room? Stays with his cannon. Oh, you see that cannon back there? Oh shoot. Yeah, I keep a camera with me at all times. All times. You never know what to expect. How did you get the Ori Spado interview? Yeah, we was the first ones to interview Ori Spado, by the way. I did him twice, once on the Gangster Chronicles and once on Street TV. Robin Lawson, super chat. Thanks for the super chat. That is amazing from Robin Lawson. Good videos, keep doing your thing. I can't believe I'm still up, bro. I gotta wake up at 6:30 a.m. You better go to sleep and get that 4.5 hours. You better get that 4.5 hours. I'm gonna be waking up just about an hour after you. It's 4 a.m. in Louisiana. Is the LA crime family still active? I don't know. I don't know. It's 5 in Ohio. What about a video from 211 from NHP? Hey, I want to do that. Marcus Bolden, that's a great idea. Why don't you hit him up for me? I'll hit him up. You hit him up. Everybody who wants to see 211 from NHP, hit him up on Instagram, and we'll make that happen. He's only like literally 10 minutes away, so there's no excuse why that can't happen. Let's go make that happen. He's down the street. He's 10 minutes away. Sell me those weights. You're not using them. Really? Use those weights almost every day. Why Craig Munson call you out? He called me out because he's unreasonable with his timeline, and because a certain deadline is not met at a certain date doesn't mean it's not happening. People think books can be written in 6 months. It literally takes 5 years to 6 years. This book took 5 years. This book took 5 years to write. Half those books on my desk took anywhere between 4 and 6 years to write. And some people don't understand that it's a process. It takes time. And once you start being rude and disrespectful, you just ruin the whole relationship. So that's why he called me out. He accused me of doing something that I've never done in 25 years as a professional. So it lets you know who's delusional. Why do trolls call you a cop? I don't think trolls call me a cop. I think there's no one actually who's calling me a cop. No one's ever actually called me a cop. There may have been one person on YouTube. There may be one person on YouTube that called me one, but that's not like a pattern. Munson, just a tired ass old timer. Look, man, Craig Munson has an incredible story. I felt honored that I met the brother and that I was writing it, outlining it. I spent 2 years doing audio interviews. I got maybe, I haven't even counted all the audio interviews I have of him. I got at least 20 audio interviews, and each interview was like an hour to 2 hours long. Got at least 20 of them that I recorded over the course in 2018 and 2019. Some of those audio interviews have been transcribed. I had to pay to get them transcribed. So there's a step to this. Do all the interviews, then do all the transcriptions, and then try to map out the story. And then I ended up having to go to the hospital last year, and I couldn't keep up. I couldn't keep up with the pace. I told him I need a little more time, and he ended up getting mad, and I just said, you know what? I can't work with this type of stress and this type of pressure. Well, I don't mind working under pressure, but the unnecessary stress. So, you know, he said what he wanted to say. I have nothing really against the brother. You know, I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's got one of the most illest stories from the streets that I've ever heard. But sometimes he just gets a little unreasonable, and I just didn't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with any of the unreasonable attitude and personality. You know, I thought we had a great rapport. He said some things to me in text. In fact, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what this dude said to me in text. This is before he went on the internet. He want to go on the internet. He just went on the internet. But back on March 10th, I think it was March 10th. You might not be able to see this because I'm not sure if it shows backwards on this camera here. And then after this, I'm gonna end it right here. Here we go. March 10th. Let's see if we could okay, here we go. Can you read that? March 10th? It actually shows backwards. He just said, stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. And I never lied to this dude about anything. I'm like, stop lying. That was March 10th. Once he started saying that, this is coronavirus time. I was in the hospital. I said, man, I'm not dealing with this. And then, I don't know, a month later, he decides to go on the internet and spew a bunch of lies. You know, who's the liar now? I ain't never stole anything from anybody in 25 years as a professional. I'm not going to steal his story. In fact, I'm going to give him all the audios that I recorded of him. I'm about to mail it to him. I'm going to write him a long letter. I'm going to put all the audios on an SD card. I'm going to mail it to him, and he could do whatever he wants with them. I've done nothing wrong except I worked for this man for 2000, all of 2018, all of 2019. And it's not going at his pace. He wants it to go faster. So then he's got this one dude in his ear talking about it only takes 6 months to write a book. It only takes 6 months to write a book. And he's believing it. So that's pretty much all I got to say on that. Other than that, man, I wish this brother well. He's got an incredible story. I wish he would let me do the story. But because he feels the way he feels, I can't go further. All right, roid rage. That's actually funny. Roid rage. He must be on that narcotic. Don't even fuck with him. You know, I really want to. I got like video interviews with this brother that I haven't put out because I was thinking of doing like a mini documentary on him. So I got all this video footage of him at the beach, you know, at his home, at events, just compiling. And, you know, this is out of my own time. Ain't no one paying me. I ain't making no money off of this. I was doing this for the passion of it. And it is what it is. Did you ever interview Bo Taylor? Rest in peace from Unity One. Never interviewed Bo Taylor. I got a picture that I took of Bo Taylor. I got a picture of Bo Taylor and Little Cat from Rolling 60s doing a march from World on Wheels all the way to Leimert Park. This had to be 1996 or 1997. And I got this great picture of both of them leading the march. The homeboy Rocky was there at the march. It was a great day, actually. I remember that day vividly. I left my job. I told my boss that I'm going to take a long lunch. I was gone for about 2.5 hours. But no, I never actually interviewed him. To keep it real with you, Bo Taylor and I didn't really get along. The brother just, for me, it was hard to get along with Bo Taylor. A lot of other people, they love him. Skip and Bo Taylor were like best of friends, but he didn't like my website. He didn't like me doing interviews. He just everything I did, he didn't like. So I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything that the guy liked. I had nothing against Bo Taylor. I remember he talked about my website one day. Why you do that website? Your website ain't nothing. Or why am I doing that interview? Or, just always questioning what I was doing. And this is when nobody was doing it. This is 96, 97, 98. Right? Now imagine if Bo Taylor was living right now and he saw all of the social media and all the YouTube channels and all the videos, he'd be going off on everybody. Or maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he'd realize that this is just the era we're in now. But it was really hard to be that only person with the camera. Like another thing was like, why you got that camera? Why you always bringing a camera to these meetings? Why you always taking pictures? It was that type of thing. But Bo Taylor was very instrumental in a lot of the peace talks, a lot of the truces, and it's unfortunate he didn't see my vision. I saw his vision. I certainly saw his vision. He didn't see my vision, and that's pretty much what it boils down to. Did you ever meet John Singleton? I actually met John Singleton twice. I met John Singleton back in 2004 at Taraji Henson's house. I used to hang out with Taraji back in 2004, and she invited me over. She used to do these shrimp and lobster grilling days. It was always seafood, outdoor, putting seafood on the grill. And one day I'm over there and look who walks in, is John Singleton. First time I ever met him, that was 2004. And there's a whole long story with that. The second time I met him was in 2017 up at USC, the screening of his documentary. Big Twin from 107 Hoover actually introduced me to him the second time. Oh, you met John Singleton? Well, I met John Singleton at the screening of his documentary on the LA uprising in 2017. So I don't know if that was the same day you was there. Taraji is well paid now. Well, Taraji was well paid then. This is when Taraji lived in Glendale before she moved into her Hollywood Hills home. She had a really nice home in Glendale. And that's where I met John Singleton the first time, was at Taraji Henson's house when she lived in Glendale. Yeah, I kicked it with Taraji, actually. She was really nice. That's when her son was young. Her son was about the same age as my daughter, and they were both young. Actually, I think her son is 1 or 2 years older than my daughter, but I had some cool times over there. DJ Vlad is a wannabe gangster that's really a white suburban guy who believes he's a gangster because he got money and a big platform. Damn, that was long. Is Opal Street 15 still active? Don't know. Do you have interviews with or about the rapper Sinister from 8 9 Swans? No, I don't. I don't. Has Vlad ever reached out to you for an interview? Vlad has reached out to me several times, but not for an interview. Not for an interview. DJ Vlad is a culture vulture and tries to get fools to themselves. Yeah, you should never ask anyone about, do you know who did a murder? Murders are open cases forever. Do you know who did a murder? Do you know who did it? Do you know who killed them? Uh, that's just a no-no on these type of platforms. But hey, DJ Vlad is trying to start beef with Ice Cube and Mac 10. So when is the first time you shot somebody, DJ Vlad? Oh man. I think I would shoot myself if I started asking those type of questions. I don't mind asking questions about crimes where someone already went to prison and did their time. But you should know ahead of time whether a murder is closed or open. If it's open, shouldn't even talk about it. Shouldn't even come up. Shouldn't even be a question. Shouldn't even be a thought. But people do, they do their style. You've been following me since a freshman year back in 02. Dan Freeman, man, 02. 18 years ago. I was a young buck 18 years ago. I had my first child was just born. My first child was just born. But Terrell Brown has been following me since 1997. 1997. Well, the StreetGangs.com was actually born in 1998. But for 3 years, I had it on a USC server. So from 1995 to 1998, I had Street Gangs on a USC server. Then I bought the domain name in 98. So that's that history. I think you should remake the movie Zoot Suits. Have you ever seen the movie? Well, better than the movie, let me show you a book. This is a great book. I have my students read this book, Murder at the Lagoon. Does this show up backwards? Can you read that? Alex, back in the day, they used to say you was a snitch working for the LAPD. Ain't nobody ever said that. Ray P, you can't find one person that ever said that. Ever. Period. Nobody ever said that. So please don't come on here typing misinformation. I'm going to call you out every single time. It's not backwards. So it shows up. It shows up forward. This is a good book on the history. Murder at the Sleepy Lagoon, Zoot Suits, Race, and Riots in Wartime LA. So, one of my favorite books on the topic. All the Munchie B's got a big name. Munchie B, a co-rapper, though. Thank God, Alex, for what you do. I really appreciate the culture that you bring to the table for those of us that aren't from California. Thank you, Ty Jax. Ty Jax, much appreciated. You was the only one putting this type of content on the World Wide Web. Dan Freeman, we was on the World Wide Web. That's what the WWW stands for. Initially, the World Wide Web. Nobody calls it the World Wide Web anymore, but it's still www.whatever.com. It was the World Wide Web. And the World Wide Web had another nickname back in like 90, 95 and 96. It was another nickname. It was the World Wide Web and something else. Let's see how old school you are. If you can come up with the other common nickname of that time. No one says it anymore. But yeah, the World Wide Web. Angel Martinez doesn't like COVID. Hey, man. This is how I'm rolling around LA. Dial-up. Well, dial-up was the way you connected to the internet. But the World Wide Web was the internet. And the World Wide Web had another nickname. And to kill the God, nailed it. No, well, you kind of nailed it. You almost nailed it. Kill the God almost nailed it. Just slightly off. AOL came out around that time. Yeah, AOL used to give out CDs for free. They wanted you to connect. You got mail. But a Kill the God almost got the nickname right. I wonder how old is a Kill the God. I don't know if he's an old cat or if he's just an old soul. Silk Road. Floppy disks were not. Floppy disks were just like SD cards. That's all it was. It was an overgrown SD card. Now that's what a floppy disk is an SD card. But a lot of floppy disks ran programs. There was software on a floppy disk, but you use the floppy disk for storage as well. The Kill the God is 42, so he's not that old, actually. He's not that old. Okay, Squander Force got it right on the money. Information Superhighway. That's the BS name the internet was called back then. The World Wide Web and the Information Superhighway. Kill the God almost had it, but Squander Force nailed it. Information Superhighway. So when I was on the internet in 94 and 95, That's what it was called. And check this out. The first time I ever went on the internet was 1994. The first thing I ever read was a government law. The first thing I ever read was a government law between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. I actually read that whole thing. It's long, but let's see how old school some of you guys are. I just gave you the hint. The first thing I ever read on the internet was a interjoint government law agreement between Canada, United States, and Mexico. It wasn't a whole lot of things on the internet. I said, oh, let me read this. I read it on a Netscape browser. The Big Bob's murder on La Cienega in the 1980s. Woo! That's an interesting one. I might do a podcast on that. So, Alex, you never worked for LAPD? I remember seeing on the news talking about drifters in Mid-City 13 beat. Where the hell does LAPD come in? Ray P. The one-hit wonder. That's exactly the first thing I ever read on the internet. NAFTA. The North American Free Trade Agreement. NAFTA. I read that whole thing. I wish I remember what website that was. Who remembers Napster? Man, I used to download music from Napster back in like 99. You got to be an OG if you was on the internet in the 90s. Ty Jacks, the LAPD BS is because these kids saw you on Gangland. Well, Gangland was not produced by the LAPD. I did one episode of Gangland and never again. I remember LimeWire. This is before MySpace even came out, G Brown. There was no MySpace. MySpace came out in the 2000s. We talking about the 90s right now. We talking about 94, 95. Kazam. All right, people. I got work to do. It's 2:30 a.m. Los Angeles time. It was friendly. I appreciate everybody coming on here and supporting the channel. We'll be on the lookout Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and we're going to make things happen. We're going to make things happen. I got some stuff coming out. And that's that. Appreciate you too, Mr. Rogers. Miguel Moctezuma. Romeo D. Terrell Brown. And to all the super chatters that decided to show some love, appreciate that too. Be safe.